Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. By the pen, taught him what he did not know. We send abundant blessings and salutations upon the noble poet who transformed lives and whose message continues to illuminate hearts across generations. Distinguished members, our honored special guests and resource persons, dear participants, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Organization, welcome you to this communication seminar. We are gathered here with a shared recognition that communication is not to make this gathering of benefits, inspiration, and growth for any one of us. Once again, I thank you for being here today. May Allah make this seminar an impactful one. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Let's say Jazakumullahu khairan. Jazakumullahu khairan. I hope I'm not the only one that observed why he was giving his address. Mentioned some things and it leads back to some of the themes of this program. He said the prophet whose word. The prophet whose word. Now till today, we still have the resounding impact of the word of the word of Allah and the word of the prophet on this very earth. And that tells us that everything we do, we still have towards communication is a vital tool in our environment. Now, I said that if you are a poet, if you have something for us, or if you write, or a word artist, we can just march forward to use the stage. Now, then after that, we will be having the oratory contest. If you are a participant, please get ready. We have poets among us. Poets. The participant of the oratory contest, please make yourself available right now. Participant. We don't have poets among us. Wow. We don't have poets among us. Okay, we have one person. If you are a participant, if you are a participant on the oratory contest, please come and use the first row of it. You're the only one. Brothers, where are we? Brothers,
Brothers,
our sisters, Mati. Okay. Brother Muhammad Janial has spoken word for us. Please, you can.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have a spoken word piece meaning applied words to impact. Words, they are not just sounds, they are seeds planted in minds, watered by emotion, and thrown into revelation. A word can crack silence like thunder. It can lift a child from shame or bury a tyrant in truth. It can whisper at ease or a roar that breaks chains. Say freedom and watch the world tremble. Say love and see the fists unclench. Say justice and feel the head shift beneath your feet. But not all worlds are born equal. Some are hollow, dressed in gold, promising light but selling shadows. Others are raw, unpolished, yet they carry the weight of generations. So speak with purpose. Speak like your tongue is a torch, and your breath is the wind that fans the flame.
Speak like your ancestors are listening and your children are learning. Because words are not just for talking, they are for building, for breaking, for becoming. So let your words be arrows of truth. Let them pierce ignorance. Let them echo in the chambers of power. Let them dance in the street of change. Speak, Germany. Speak, Nigeria. Speak, Africa. Speak, whites. Speak, the world. Because words are how we rise. Thank you.
Please, let's say the powerful Jazakumullah khairan. Because I'm not a good person to watch. I say I will let me come and challenge, but I'll reserve it for another day.
Okay. All right.
Actually, it is solid. Okay, now, as I said earlier, now, please, if you are one of the listeners and you are not here, please move forward. Contestants, move forward.
Contestants, move forward. I think it's in there or here. Brothers, it's in here. You guys should come here. 2 brothers, 1 sister, 2, 1. Where are the other sisters? Okay, 2, 2. If you are participating in the oratory contest, please move forward. If you are participating in the oratory contest, please move forward.
I'm not here by this time. Probably you have to wait for next time. Okay, we are just for
I was good.
Yeah. Okay, amongst us, we have one of our guest lecturer, the person of Tunde, Mr. Tunde Onokoya. Mr.
You're welcome, Mr. Tunde Onokoya. Hearing the word Onokoya, I thought of the chess man, but I didn't know that it's the mechanic. Not the chess man.
A former UI, is a former editor of UCG UI. That is the person of Tijani Abdul-Kabir.
Mr. Tijani Abdul-Kabir. MashaAllah.
Message of Allah. You're welcome, Mr. Tijani Abdul-Kabir.
Okay, in the absence of nothing else, we'll have our contestants for the oratory contests. And no. Please, one of our speakers, please move forward. Brother Shuaib Sudais.
And to start this fight of tongues, we're going to start with brother.
Okay, please be.
Speaking on the topic, what does counsel for justice about us? Now, proceed.
Okay, I would like to invite Sister Sekinat Karim, a finalist from the Premier Faculty, the Department of Communication and Language Arts. She's going to be one of the moderators of this oratory contest. Sure. And they will be stating, you can use it, and they will be stating together with brother Tijani Abdulkabir. They will be setting the guidelines for this contest. Please, the second microphone.
Where's the motor? Idris. So you need it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alright, so for the oratory context, I'm going to be reading out the guidelines that we're going to be using to determine the winners. And I want the speakers to pay attention to this. Now, so first, we're going to be judging you on dressing, which goes for 5 marks. So we understand that this is supposed to be an oratory context, and you're also expected to dress formally. So your dressing goes for 5 marks. Time management, how well you are also able to manage your time. It also goes for 5 marks. We're also going to be judging your content and facts. So we do not just want you to come here and say a lot of things. At the end of the day, both the judges and the audience are struggling to understand what exactly you are saying, or if what you are saying is correct. So we're going to be judging your content and facts, and that goes for 30 marks. We are going to be judging your delivery. You are expected to deliver, not just to read what you have prepared. So your delivery, it also goes for 20 marks. We're also going to be judging your structure. We want to know how well you are able to articulate your points. We want to know when you move from paragraph 1 to paragraph 2, and when you move to the conclusion. So essentially, that has to do with the structure of your speech. So that goes for 10 marks. We're also going to be judging your creativity because this is an oratory contest. So we also want you to bring all the spicy, and all that. So that also goes for 20 marks. And finally, we're also going to be judging your language and style. We do not want you to come here and say ambiguous word, for instance, or come here and use abusive word, So your language and the style also goes for 10 marks. So that gives us a total of 100 marks. Are we clear, please? All right, thank you. All right, so we understand that each of the speakers are going to be speaking for 5 minutes each. So once you spend 3 minutes, 4 minutes rather, we're going to hear the tap on the mic once. So once you exhaust your time, it's going to be continuous. So that means your time is up. Thank you very much.
What counts for what the man something how many minutes less, how many minutes more affected by noise? So when your 5 marks for time start counting when you are 5 minutes below your allocated time or 5 minutes above your allocated time. 5 seconds rather, 5 seconds below or 5 seconds above. So once you start using, after the 5, you have the grace of 5 seconds. Anything less than 455 or more than 505, start losing one mark after each 5 seconds. Do you get that?
How many speakers? Yeah. How many speakers?
Okay. Is it just 4? Are we still expecting more? Something.
How many are being total? We only have 4 speakers.
Alright. Just think that that's a song. No, you can do like this. From this side. I think they're just here. One.
Just like that.
Yeah. So, and he'll just write the name. So, since he needs everything from 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you can just. Yes, I'll just say.
No worry.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put them. They use the less or above the less. I think then they do not obligate 15 minutes of speeches or something.
But when you do that, you said 3 minutes. It was telling me that it would give it to you, so I was just surprised.
Idris, what's the issue?
She said it was 3 minutes.
If they do them for me, we're going to judge them.
Is it for me that they
Is it
do
above everybody?
Why we all the vote on that?
Everybody will get 4 minutes. No problem, then we'll do 4 minutes. We're doing what if that's what they prepare, that's what we're going to do.
Sorry, so everybody prepare for a 4-minute speech. Is that correct? Okay, so you
That
can
guy
examine
is
this.
going to put them to.
Can you also ask students?
4 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do
So that means once it is 3 minutes,
3.
you hear the bell once, and once it is 4 minutes, it's going to be continuous. Are we good? Alright.
Yeah.
Thank you, now.
Okay, I'm sure you guys are cool. Brother Sudesh Rai. Now, your time is about to start, and you should. Are you? Okay.
You say I didn't think you tell me to start or I should start. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, comment section has become courtrooms. We live in a world where a mistake can turn you to a monster. A slip of tongue can ruin goodness of a life. And trial lasts for a few seconds, but judgment lasts forever. That's what we call cancel culture. The question you're going to ask, but this cancel culture, what does it say about us? We cancel. The question goes beyond like who was cancelled or how was it cancelled, but what does it reflect as a community in us? Like, so here I have an analogy of a mirror and objects, 3 objects: justice, forgiveness, and accountability. First object, forgiveness. Every society requires forgiveness from God. We pray, we raise our hand unto the Lord. Oh my Lord, forgive me. But when we go back to our rooms, we use this same hand to type something that can ruin someone's life, something that very shows beneath shames with. We are demanding forgiveness from the Lord, but we are unwilling to forgive one another. Is that what He say about us? Is that what He say about us? Yeah. We are unwilling to forgive one another, but we ask God for forgiveness. In case of Funke Akindele during the COVID-19, everybody was just tackling her. We don't even give a second chance. So if you want to cancel, we know to correct is noble, but if you want to correct, you can give them second chances. So, but we tend to cancel, not to correct. To correct is different from cancel. If you want to correct, you don't destroy, but cancel destroys. To my second object, accountability. So we are called for accountability. Yes, accountability is noble, but if you want to hold somebody accountable for his action, because every soul are to hold for are to responsible for his or her action, but we hold these people accountable. We hold these people accountable for their action, but we don't have mercy for them. Just go there. You do these things, just cancel. Social media, commenting. So the same will be following the person all around. We take as Muslim, we tend to control with wisdom and knowledge, not just to cancel. That will cause shames and disgrace for the people that were cancelled. To the third object, justice. We cast for justice. Yes, Allah command justice, and we must be just, but we must be merciful. We must show mercy to those. We must show mercies in the cause of. Yes, Allah command justice, and we must be just. But this justice, we must put mercy, because justice and mercy go side by side. Oh wait, this person we want to cancel. Oh, what are they done? Okay. Oh, let them give them second chance. Maybe they can sometimes do better or go away from the wrongdoings. Let's look at the mirror, at the images created by the mirror. Is that what it says about us? Is that what it says about us? Thank you.
Let's say a big jazakumullah to the brother. It is not easy. I'm sure he put a lot of effort into that. Just probably stage fright or something. Now our next speaker is going to be Yusuf Ikma.
Alright, so to judges, the topic for the revolution is what cancel culture says about us. That's the topic.
hidden identities, 4 marks, 4 societies. Brothers and sisters, imagine this: one old word, one old tweet, one unpopular opinion, one mistake, and all of a sudden, you are not just corrected, you are erased. No second chance, no room to explain. I wonder what that is. That is cancel culture. But what does it say about us? According to dictionary.com, cancel culture is defined as the practice of publicly rejecting or ending support for a particular group of people because of their socially or morally unaccepted views or action. Cancel culture is not only about people who are cancelled, it's also about you, I, us, and all of us doing the cancelling. It reflects what we value, what we fear, and how we treat one another. In the world of cancel culture, society view this cancel culture in different ways, and with the 4 marks, I will view these differences in different societies. Society A, the mask of justice. Cancel culture says we want justice. For a long time, people in power acted without consequences. Now, ordinary voices can speak up. A wrong act, a harmful statement, or an abuse of power can be challenged. This shows that we care about fairness and accountability. It tells us that we do not want to be silenced in the face of the wrong. And according to 2021 research survey, it shows that 58% of Americans see cancel culture as a way to hold people accountable. Society B, the mask of anger. Cancel culture says we are quick to forgive but slow to. We are quick to punish but slow to forgive. One mistake can erase years of good work. An old post can destroy someone's reputation. Take the case of J.K. Rowling as an example. His book shaped a lot of generations' readers. Yet, his tweet on gender identity brought waves of condemnation. Society C, the mask of silence. Cancel culture says we fair dialogue. Instead of teaching, we silence. Instead of debating, we delete. If every mistake leads to cancellation, people stop learning. Society stops growing. In 2022, survey showed that around 40% of young Americans say they self-censor their opinions at work and online for fear of being cancelled. But what happens when we silence instead of converse? That leads me to my final point. Society D, the mask of hypocrisy. Cancel culture shows our contradictions. We expect others to be perfect or quietly excuse our own mistake. On Twitter, for example, people cancel culture for an old post, but later on, their own old tweets come out and they face the same attack. The canceller then becomes the cancelled. Think of Kevin Hart. Years after joking tweets from his post resurfaced, he was forced to step down from hosting the Oscars. Ironically, some of those who cancelled him were later cancelled. Think about it. The canceller then becomes the cancelled. In conclusion, we have viewed the cancel culture in different societies in different ways, and with the 4 marks: the mask of justice, the mask of silence, the mask of hypocrisy, and the mask of anger. This shows that cancel culture is a very dynamic, so it is not static. Thank you.
Please, let's say a big Jazakumullah khairan. And I hope you really enjoyed this. And I'm sure by now some of us will have maybe at one point in time experienced such thing in such toxic environment like Twitter, when old tweets are used to judge people. Now, the next contestant I'm going to be calling is Maruf Azizat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We live in an era where tweets can incite feelings of anger and one mistake can lead to destruction. What does this era? It is called the era of cancel culture. But what does the cancel culture really say about us? It says that we care, that we no longer whisper in silence when there is injustice. We will no longer look away when there is discrimination, corruption, and abuse of power. We say we want accountability, but what we practice is destruction. We want learning, but we incite fear. So I want to ask you, what kind of society do we want to build? Is it a society where mistakes are stepping stones, or where mistakes lead to one destruction, where people are growing or where people are disappearing? It shows us both our power and weaknesses. Power to demand changes, power in refusing mercies, our strength in speaking, failure in silencing voices. Because in this era we are, people are silencing other people in order to make themselves be on top, or making like they should make people not be able to voice out their opinions because of their power. They are abusing their power. Injustice is going on, but people are silencing because of this cancel culture. So I tell you, let's choose differently. Let's change this cancel culture into correction culture. Let's change destruction to education, and let's make a mistake into second chances. Let's help people have second chances in their lives. When they make mistake, let us make it a place where they won't be able to go on with their lives. But mistakes, when they make mistake, we should help them to focus more, so that the mistakes won't occur again, so that they will move on and know where they made mistake and amend, not a place where there will be no chances for people. So this cancel culture, let's change it into correction culture. Let's not make people like they should not be able to be corrected. Like they will not be corrected, but judge. We should not judge people without correcting them. So I said, the true measure of a society is not how loudly it punishes, but how wisely it forgives. Not how quickly it cancels, but how patiently it heals. Cancel culture says a lot about us. It says a lot about us, but what it says about us tomorrow, my dear brothers and sisters, depends on us. Thank you.
I'm sure again you are able to get what our contestant is trying to say. Now the next person is Zain.
So the last speaker was
Her name is Maruf Azizat.
Correct.
Okay, Zainola Fajobi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brothers and sisters, we've gathered here today not to argue or to debate, but to share the different views through which cancel culture reflects how the society works. Cancel culture. This is a phrase that was first used by black tweeters in the mid-2010s, but gained prominence in the late 2010s. Cancel culture, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, It is the act of engaging in mass cancelling as a way of expressing disapproval or exerting social pressure. Simply put, it is the mass withdrawal of support from an individual whose action is deemed unacceptable and offensive. According to Lisa Nakamura, a professor from the Digital Studies Institute, University of Michigan, cancel culture can also be called cultural boycott, a refusal to amplify or condone someone's misdeed. This majorly occurs through the use of social media like Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. Now, cancel culture, beyond the trend and the hashtags, it is a mirror that reflects the two sides of the society. The first side, which is the good, cancel culture reflects how people are unwilling to take a silent approach on action they deem unacceptable. When the system or individual fails to do what is right, cancel culture always have a way of demanding it from them. For instance, the Me Too movement for victims of sexual abuse. When the legal system fails or is even slow at achieving justice for these victims of sexual abuse, the society came up with a way of demanding their justice by condemning these abusers at their place of work and entertainment industries. Also, the Black Lives Matter protest, which started due to the unjust death of George Floyd, an African American who died due to police brutality. This reminded the world that silence is no longer an option. At its best, cancel culture reflects how people face accountability and transparency, most especially from those that influence the society. The second side, which is the bad, cancel culture reflects how people are too quick to judge without verifying the facts given to them. This brings about the story of Justin Sacco, a South African PR executive who before boarding flights from London to South Africa, made a somewhat offensive joke on it. But before the flight landed, she has been called out on social media, cancelled, and condemned, simply because of the somewhat offensive joke she made. This goes a long way to show how outrage can replace dialogue and fear can silence conversations. This shows the enormous weight our words can carry. However, it is pertinent to know that hashtags and words alone cannot bring the changes we desire. As former US President Barack Obama warned, hashtags alone are not activism. For instance, Israel has been called out many times due to its violent actions, but no positive change has occurred. No positive change has occurred. This shows that hashtags and words can only spark a movement, but is not powerful enough to implement the changes desired. In conclusion, my brothers and sisters, cancel culture is a mirror that reflects the two sides of the society, revealing what we celebrate and what we condemn. It can hold the powerful accountable, but can also silence voices too quickly. The same ones that have the power to cancel also have the power to heal and rebuild. The real question goes beyond what we cancel, but who we choose to become. So my brothers and sisters, I remain there in life at a member of Adh-Dhikr Press, and with this, I take my bow. Thank you.
I think that's also a very solid one. And for some of us that are just stepping in, the topic is what cancel culture says about us. And the next person will be Olorunnishola Abdulwasi.
Should one mistake erase an entire lifetime of an effort? That, brothers and sisters, is a question cancel cultures forces us to ask. Cancel cultures is not just about trend. It is like a mirror reflecting who we are. Cancel cultures. It shows four reflections. One, it shows our power. Firstly, ordinary people can hold a mighty accountable with voice, post, or twist, but one silence but one silence demand justice. 2. Cancel cultures. It shows our impatience. Human being without justice. Cancel cultures. It shows impatience. Thirdly, cancel cultures. It shows struggles with forgiveness. Human being, we go with mistakes. Human being, we go with mistakes. Fourthly, cancel cultures. It shows our digital nature, that is, through social media. But behind the screen, we are loud, we are fearless. But beyond the hashtag, that is face-to-face conversation, do we act the same with the courage? In conclusion, cancel cultures, it says we are bold, but we are heartless. We are passionate, but we lack. We are unforgiving. Thirdly, it shows that It shows that we lack. We are passionate, but it shows we are passionate, but we are unforgiving. Thirdly, it shows that we are powerful, but lack wisdom. So, cancel culture is talk about you and I, not them. I'm done.
Kabirullah. I'm sure by now, every one of us, we now, probably you don't know what cancel culture is. Now you should have a brief knowledge of what it is. Now, there's going to be an impromptu session whereby among the audience, if you can just speak on this, you can speak on the topic for just 4 minutes. For just 4 minutes. Audience. And it's not coming for free. Yes. If you think, speaker, no, she's not. Now, come and be the speaker. Put yourself in the shoes of the speaker, whether it will size you or it will be oversized. Okay, let's give it a try. From the brothers or from the sisters? I hope we get the topic. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So on the topic, cancel culture. Actually, from what they have said, cancel culture seems to be an act, a culture that everybody has adopted, but they don't know the consequences, and some don't even know the positive consequences or negative ones. Everyone just wants to belong. They want to hold everyone accountable. But what about you? What about me? What about those that are involved? And what about those that are affected? No, everybody, like it is. Cancel culture puts some people as a victim, and at the end of the day, they make some liberated. Those that are liberated, are they even right? Those that are holding some accountable, are they also righteous? I believe cancel culture is a good habit that has mostly negative consequences. So, in conclusion, cancel culture should be promoted but regulated.
Kabirullah. It is not easy. You can see now that even the sister, although she tried, she was not informed about the topic before now. And she was still able to say something around the topic. Can we have someone from the brothers? Someone from the brother. Okay. Please, brother, show us the brotherly deal. Do you understand? 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Okay. To start with, looking at cancel culture like an avatar. In an ancient days, we will see when the world was young, we have the spirit of heart, the spirit of fire, the spirit of water, and the spirit of air, which actually gifted us balance. And we see that the water sang of our hearts, and the heart stood for truth, and the fire blazes for courage, and the air danced in freedom. But if we look into our new world, we see a new storm. It actually sweeps our land. It challenges us. It bends our reputations rather than bending mountains and rivers like that of Avatar. Now, it does not whisper peace. It whispers judgment. And they call it cancel culture. They call it cancel culture. Looking at the world of arts, the world of water, the world of air, and the world of fire. Now, looking at the world of water, we say the world of water, the water sang of arts. Looking at water, it flows with peace. It flows with peace, but unchecked, it flooded. And rather, we look at in 2023, when we have the sudden death of Mohbad, it actually caused a torrent of rage on Naira Marley, which actually led to the reason why his songs were vanished and his name was tarnished until we heard the truth recently. And looking at the world of here, you could see that the world of here, they are free like cowards, but how they are free like cowards, there are still some restrictions to it, yet it's still chokehold. And looking at the world of fire, which actually braces what courage with courage like a righteous fury, we will see that that's why the courage it actually brings is still what we still face some challenges. Let's look at on X in 2020, whereby an influencer called Wunkeraj, and he actually she posted the picture of a bicycle rather than the fight. And what our fans did to her, that they burned her name. Her name was silenced. Everything sparks. Should I say everything? They abused her on the Twitter, and actually caused the reason why influencing power actually it's lower than influencing power. And looking at this, we could see that cancel culture. It says we care, like what they say. It says we care. It says we heal. It says we move toward justice. And it says, from what one of them said, they said cancel culture is a mirror. Yes, but we can shape it with our love and wisdom. And one of the things I would think I can say about cancel culture is that cancel culture is how we see things, and it is us.
Kabirullah. Now our judges are going to pass out their comments on the session.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I want to appreciate all the people who wrote speeches and came out here to deliver it, because it's actually not easy to stand in front of people to say whatever it is that is in your head, even if you are sure of it. But yeah, regardless, this setting is for us to learn more and improve on what we have. So here are a few comments from the speeches that you guys delivered. The first thing that I have here is vague examples. So when you come up here to come and tell us that so person was cancelled in 2020, or this person said this thing and the internet forgot the person, you don't assume that everybody in the audience understands what you're talking about. So if you're giving an example, give some context to it so that we can easily connect how that example ties back to the point you're trying to make. Do you understand? Then another thing is claims without explanations. Somebody came and said, okay, cancel culture reflects who we are. How? The reason why we are here is to hear these things. So when you give claims and say, okay, cancel culture helps us with accountability, and you don't give context to it, you don't explain your claim. It's just like, okay, somebody wakes up and tell us this thing. Why should we believe that thing? So that's why there is a space for content and facts. Back up your claims with the necessary facts. And if it's examples you are using, make sure that they are contextual and relevant to what you're saying. Then, yeah, for structure, I think that while a few people tried to use the structure well, some of you didn't really use your structure to drive home your point. I mean, someone already said in conclusion at like 2 minutes, and then still came back and said thirdly, like after in conclusion. So you have to make sure that the essence of the structure is to help us understand what you're saying from beginning to the end. Like the reason why we're here is communication seminar, right? So when you're communicating, people you're delivering your speech to, they are listening to it, they are not reading it. So it is the way you say it and the way it is organized that will help them reach the same conclusion with you. Such that by the time you are saying in conclusion, we're actually reaching your agreement because we followed your thought process. But when your structure is we go here, positive, negative, everything mixed up in the middle, it's very hard to reach the same conclusion with you. Then monotonous delivery. In communication, the way you say something is as important as what you're saying. So some of you are telling us that, oh, this thing is bad, we cancel people online, but then we also do this thing. But you're just saying everything like in the same voice, the same energy, and we don't know when you're angry at something and when you're chill about it. There is no variation in tone, there's no voice modulation. And there is a reason why we learn all this rising tone, falling tone in school, because it also helps in the way we understand what you're saying. So then the last thing I have here is AI. See, there is a part on this score sheet that says language and style. The reason why there is language and style on oratory speaking score sheet is because we want to see your unique perspective. We want to hear your voice in what you're saying. We want to see that different way you think about that thing. If everybody here is giving mic to talk about cancel culture, we'll end up having like similar ideas. But the way you will say your own is not the way we say his own, and that's what makes us different. But when you now use artificial intelligence in your speeches, which is not entirely bad, it is still very important that you infuse your voice, and then it's not like you're just hearing, oh, this part is sound like just what ChatGPT said, or something that is just like copy and paste, and we're not really feeling the human connection. This is something that affects us. So you have to infuse that voice, that emotion into your speech. I think those are the comments I have for you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So I only have a few more things to say in addition to what Sherry said. Now, so the first thing is the greeting style. I understand that this is a religious gathering. And what we are being taught is that when you want to address anybody or when you want to greet, at the very least you do the testimony. But this is an military context, and if you have to judge, you are supposed to judge. You are not supposed to use that in this setting, right? So we have some speakers come up and say, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Why is it entirely bad? We're just saying it because when you go out there to go and do debates, to go and contest, you are not expected to do some of these things. So another thing, we also have some speakers. This is supposed to be a speech, but we have some speakers do it like they're delivering a lecture, which is quite different. This is supposed to be a speech where you are speaking to an audience. You want the audience to agree with your position. You want us to see from your perspective. So when you are doing, you want to see that persuasiveness. It's not just that you're just talking with a bunch of people, right? So you also see that, which is not very good. There were a lot of faulty arguments. So you need to go into the nitty-gritty of the logic that some of us presented. There are a lot of faulty arguments. Some of the logics that we brought on board, they were not that good. But of course, we are being lenient with the judging. But this is just to say so that subsequently, when you have another opportunity to hold debates, whether it's oratory, whether it's a debate, you are expected to come with sound arguments. Your logic is supposed to make sense. You are telling us not to justify why A plus B is equal to something. And in between, you just have a lot of silly mess up. which is a problem. So yeah, so we have a lot. I mean, we have somebody say something about forgiveness, and I'm trying to relate how does that exactly correlate to the topic. I mean, so you have the speaker, you are the one to tell me how that exactly makes sense. But you just said something, and almost immediately you move from that something to another thing entirely. So it makes it so very difficult for us as the judges to follow your thought process of what point exactly do you want to establish. Yeah, we also have somebody talking about Funke Academy, and so at that point I was also asking, how does Funke Academy, you mentioned a scenario during the COVID, what exactly was the issue, and how does that translate into council culture? And so another thing which is also very fundamental when you want to debate topics like this is that you need to define key tasks. So you are currently speaking to an audience that they did not have an idea, or you are assumed that they don't have an idea of what you're talking about. There is a council culture in that topic. And so we're not expecting you to come and just say a lot of things, a lot of illustrations, a lot of things. And I know that people are struggling to understand what is the basis of this argument. I mean, it's very, very difficult for you to come up and tell us first what exactly is council culture. I also from there start establishing your point. Yeah, we also have to be not use relevant facts. In fact, we have to be tasking and relevant facts at all. I mean, while we understand that this is poetry, but at the same time, we are also expected to do some level of research. So that's what tells us, that's what convinces us as the judge, or even the audience that this person has put in a lot of work to deliver this speech. Anybody that is coming here is not coming here to just come and listen to what you have to say. We are coming here because we know that you know better and you want to educate us on this topic. We also have a lot of fallacy, which is very bad. I didn't talk about wrong arguments. Yes, last we also have generalization. I mean, I understand that this cancel culture and it's a very sensitive thing. So you want to ordinarily assume that it's an everybody thing. While I agree with you to something extent, but I still feel like for the purpose of this content, you are also expected to.
So that's the keynote
It's not
session.
just for you to come and say that.
So you can see from the flyer. So but the
Specific.
so go to the
Exactly
extreme, start with the
what
prayer.
are the category of
Master
people you're
University.
talking about? Give
Knowledge,
us
expertise in
clear
class.
example
Then
and
after
justify that example of the fact or the context that you're bringing.
the flyers I
So,
have
where overall,
No.
this
should be up here.
this
LOC
is not
LOC chat room.
entirely count on the marks, or just to say it for subsequent
Chairman, really,
time when you have another opportunity to do anywhere. And yes,
Don't
very
worry,
last,
this one
so I
is
also
Adh-Dhikr
say that, I mean, we are in the University of Ibadan, and one of the culture that being uploaded in this university is public speaking. That's why you have a context like Joe, that's why you have a context like Larry Bailey, that's why you have a lot of public speaking context. So there's no way you're a UI student and we're not seeing that sentence of this person from the University of Ibadan. Right? So you could have even gone on YouTube, go on Instagram to check past edition of Joe to exactly understand when we say that people are debating or people are supposed to debate. So I gives you an idea to what the judges are expecting. So it's not just sort of people are just gathered and just want to listen to you. Yeah, thank you very much.
I say big jazakumullah khairan. Okay, now I hope that from what we've heard from our judges, we now know. Yeah. Now we now know that there are some do and don't of this contest. Now this is going to serve as a medium of correction for the participant and for we who are yet to put up things for ourselves. If we are going out there to participate in any oratory contest, we know how to handle it. Now, I would like to recognize and invite some of our guest speakers. Now, we have Mr. Mutiu Ayondala, sir. Inyoda, sorry, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir. We have Mr. Tunde Onokoya, sir. Assalamu alaikum. We have Mr. Tijani Abdul Kadir. Right. And I would like to invite the OO2 of MSSN University of Ibadan from the Premier Faculty and Department of Arabic and Islamic Study in person of Imam Tajuddin Ahmed. The Naib al-Amir of MSSN University of Ibadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay. The next person I'll be calling to the high table is a linguist, a 400 level student of the Department of Linguistics from the Premier Faculty, University of Ibadan. He was the former coordinator of CPMAS. If you know CPMAS, you know we have the Directorate of Studies, MSSN University of Ibadan. Is one of the people that coordinated the tutorial for Faculty of Art. The person of Mr. Sadiq Lawal, a 400 level of linguistics department. Okay. Now, then we will be having the Amir speech that is going to be given to us by the Naib al-Amir of MSSN University of Ibadan.
Alhamdulillah, الذي جعل الحمد سببا لذكره وسببا للمزيد من فضله ودليلا على آلائه وعظمته، والصلاة والسلام على من مد عليه الفصاحة نطاقها وبذلت إليه البلاغة رواقها، أكرم مخلوق نطق بالضاد وأفصح من تلفظ بالبيان، وعلى آله وصحبه البر الكرام. All praise and adoration are due to Allah, the ultimate and supreme being, the one who by his mercy and power everything in existence thrive. We praise him, we glorify him, we beseech his blessings upon the noblest of mankind, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who has the best character amongst mankind, and Allah made him a model for mankind in general. Allah says in the Quran about this noblest of mankind in Quran 33 verse 21, as he made him a model. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. There has certainly been for you in the messenger of Allah an excellent pattern for anyone whose hope is in Allah and the last day, and who remembers Allah often. May these blessings of Allah be upon his household, his companions, and those who follow his righteous path until the day of accountability. Without further ado, it is with immense joy I stand in front of you all today as the acting Amir of MSSN University of Ibadan at this blessed gathering in order to address the generality of the audience. Behold, nothing can be done except by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ultimate controller of all affairs. The one who says in Quran 6, verse 59, وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا وَلَا حَبَّةٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ وَلَا رَطْبٍ وَلَا يَابِسٍ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. Not a leaf falls, but that he knows it, and no grain is there within the darknesses of the earth, and not moist or dry thing, but that it is written in a clear record with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, I cheerfully and humbly welcome, appreciate our revered special guest of the day for answering our humble invitation to our first communication seminar of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria, University of Ibadan branch, organized by a special part of the society, Adh-Dhikr Press organization. It is indeed a privilege to have you all in our midst today. May Allah reward you all abundantly. In addendum, I extend my undiluted greeting and appreciation to my beloved brothers and sisters for gracing this event and being dutiful students, Muslim students of the Premier University, University of Ibadan. I ask Allah in His infinite mercy to bless you and grant you success in all your endeavors. Conclusively, I advise us to take every lesson that will be taken from this event seriously, see this as an avenue to go beyond the horizons and develop positively in core aspects of communication, as it shall continue to be a useful weapon and tool for us in our different fields. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, we want to recognize one of our fathers in the name of Mr. Adh-Dhikr Adetono Salahuddin. I'm sure some of us might know this person. Why some of us we are yet to know this person? He's the great Salahuddin. He's an alumnus of the University of Ibadan from the Department of Communication and Language Arts, Faculty of Arts. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is setting the tone. From what? From word to impact. Setting the tone from word to impact.
Now, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We really appreciate everyone for joining us today, for knowing our invitation. And well, I've already done a very short welcome address. Once again, I would like to welcome all our successors to this occasion. Really appreciate your presence from Mr. Tunde Onakoya and Mr. Muti. Our former editor, is the first editor-in-chief to be a part of the CEC. Yeah, welcome, sir. In I'm representing the AMEL. Mr. Sadiq Lawal, Mr. Sidani Abdelkabir, our editorial advisor, Mr. Sakina Kanu. You are welcome. Thank you so much, sir. Alhamdulillah for bringing us together on this noble occasion. Our theme for this seminar, from words to impact, is one that goes beyond slogans. It captures a fundamental truth about human existence. Allah has honored the human being with the gift of speech. He said in the Quran, He says in the Quran, Ar-Rahman 'allama al-Quran, khalaqa al-insan 'allamahu al-bayan. The ability to communicate is therefore a divine gift, but with every gift comes responsibility. Words are never natural. They carry weight. They can inspire or destroy, guide or mislead, unite or divide. Allah, the Quran reminds us, do you not see how Allah presents the example of a good word? Like a good tree, firmly rooted, its branches reaching the sky, giving its fruits at all times by the permission of its Lord. Quran 14 verse 24 to 25. A good word spoken with sincerity, clarity, and wisdom can outlive the speaker. bearing fruits for generations. We all know this. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we died many years ago, but today we still read his words, we learn from them. So the words, a good speech can outlive the speaker, and it's definitely outlive the speaker. And beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam embodied this reality. His words were few, but rich in meaning. His speech was measured, clear, and impactful. A single statement from him could change the course of a companion's life. Through letters to kings, sermons to his companions, and conversations with strangers, he demonstrated that communication when done with a son is a tool for power, for leadership, and for building communities. But today, in a fast-paced world, words are everywhere, on our phones, in our classrooms, on stages, and in workplaces. The challenge is no longer about speaking or writing, but about making our communication matter. So at this point, I would like to give everything to our resource persons who are here to do justice to the theme of this seminar and the various topics we'll be speaking on. So once again, I really appreciate all our resource persons, all our special guests, every one of us for being present here today. I pray to Almighty Allah to make this session fulfilling and rewarding. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is an extremely absolute. Now, we are going to be moving to one of the major reasons why we are here. Now, we have our first keynote section, and it is what? Breaking barriers, how effective communication shape academic and professional growth. And this will be given to us by Mr. Mutiu Inyoda.
It's really sugar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to read the citation of Mr. Mutiu Inyoda Lasisi. Mr. Mutiu Inyoda Lasisi is a researcher, communication strategist, and management consultant with broad experience in academia, media, and industry. He is the co-founder and chief visionary officer of Infoperation Limited, a consulting firm that helps people, businesses, and governments harness data-driven insights and for growth. Mr. Lasisi is also an insight analyst with Tekedia Boston, where he writes on business, politics, and development. He has a strong academic background in media and communications and has participated in trainings with institutions such as the Higher School of Economics, Moscow, and the University of London. Mr. Lasisi has published widely, including in Convergence and the Journal of Media, Literacy, Education, an award-winning scholar. He is also a facilitator and speaker at universities and professional workshops. Let's welcome Mr. Mutiu Inyoda Lasisi. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. All protocol related stuff. I want to thank my uncle, brother, Chris Saladway. I finished after being corrected for the rest of some years ago. I wanted to also thank Mr. Tunde Onakoya for me, as well as other members of the high tables. Once again, my name is Mutiu Inyoda Lasisi, and I've been asked to talk about how we can ensure effective communication. However, the topic, if to me, will not be able to follow that line because in our organizations, we look at what is in our society, what is trending, and how can we keep into the trending things for us to make sense in whatever we are doing in academia or professional life. Now, I want to tell you now that all of you, maybe in the next few months or the next few years, you are going to graduate from this university. Now, what you are looking for is that degree, and that is the only key that you have to go out there and make it something better to yourself personally and also people in society. When you get to our organizations, you have that as the main thing for you to enter the system. But you need to do what? To remain in that system with the way you communicate and the way you execute the task they are given to you. The moment you fail to do this, you cannot sustain yourself in that system. In other words, today's system requires that you know how to communicate clearly, how to write, how to speak, and then how to engage with people. Recently, we conducted a national survey on demand communication skills by employers in Nigeria. Honestly, I can tell you that whether you are studying engineering, finance, or tech, whatever, without communication, nothing for you. You can't. Even if you are sleeping, you are communicating. As you are dressing, you are communicating. If I see you in certain dresses and say this is what you need, especially for some of us who are coming from a communication department or for media studies, we usually interpret non-verbal cues before we start saying this is what you need. So some people will be telling you that, hey, it cannot be at tomorrow. But in communication, I'm sorry, I can judge you through your dressing, through your non-verbal eyes cues that you use when you are communicating with me. That means that there is no way you will be in this university and you always working towards passing exams without working towards strengthening your communication skills. It will not make sense for you. Listen. Now, my topic, based on the one you give to me now, is that you need to do what? You need to reinvent your communication strategies if you want to make sense in academia and in professional life. There's no way you will go out there without looking at the processes you are using to create your communication activities and as well executing your communications. In other words, you need to pay attention to these three things: processes, people, and technology. There is no way you want to communicate without using this thing nowadays. So for those who happen to be digital migrants, you need to know how to use certain technology as we are moving every year. You just need to move quickly with technology. For example, there are thousands of formatter developed template for you to do PowerPoint presentation. If you are still those people who also believe in using the normal word documents to create template for PowerPoint presentation, you are wasting your time. You need to move with the trends. Now that brings me back to our study for this year on communication demand skills. We analyzed over 2,000 job applications, job postings, and we discovered that there is a clear mismatch between what the employers are looking for and what the potential employees are putting to the CV. If it gets not taken, you will discover that you are applying for a particular job, no communication to you, no response to what you have said to them, because there is no link between what you have on your CV and then what they are looking for. As a matter of fact, I won't blame you totally for this, because our curriculum is not actually factoring this into what we are learning from universities nowadays, except if you have yourself in groups like this, you are participating in some activities on campuses. it will make sense by learning things that will help you by the time you get to workplace. As a matter of fact, when I was in UI, I happened to be the deputy editor-in-chief for the Federal Hot Press. Majority of what I did then still help me today. Then we can also see some other activities on campus that you can be with and men. As small as this particular Ramadan program from MSSNUI is, you can learn a whole lot of things about project management. Majority will be running away from such activities on campus because they will be busy for their studies and this and that. Honestly, you are losing. Now, in our study, we discovered that the top requirements from the employers is that they want people that can write in terms of reports. You know, when you get to workplace, they give you a task to do, and you are coming back to do what? To give them the report, not to be talking 24/7, because the system requires that you document this. There will be a time that they will not have a chance to call you to come and explain what happened. So if you don't understand how to write reports for this academia now, honestly, I don't know how you are going to go outside it, because it's one of the things you need to release in that room you have entered using your certificates. Now, this issue of communication skills, some people will say, yeah, is it not true that you are hard that's supposed to be communicating well? You are getting it wrong. If you are in engineering, you need communication skills. However, the way they will be expecting you to have such skills will not be the way they will expect somebody from arts to have it. When I was in the private sector in Lagos, my sister company I'm working with, they were forced to hire somebody who read communications and marketing to deal with the engineers. When they want to communicate, the person will be the one writing for them. Because what they know how to do the best is that technical aspect of the job. But the directors and the CEO, they discover that anytime they send messages out on their own, the people at the back will be telling them who are the kind of people you are hiring in your business. Why can't you make sure you fine-tune your communication structure that will help them to deliver the goods to the outsiders? That was the reason for them to hire the lady to come on board and checking what they are writing before they send it out. Now, you can see the critical scenario better. Now, if you are now saying that the communication skills should be for those in art and society, social sciences and humanities, you are making it a big mistake in a way. So now, how do you ensure that you make your classroom communication skills, indirect one or direct one, what is going to be useful for you when you go out there for career growth? Now, the first thing is that I don't think there is any program today in any university in Nigeria without asking you to write something like a little bit of an essay. There is no way. Either use of English or a particular lecturer is likely to give you a kind of activity that you are doing out there and come back and write this in your reflective essay. Those things you are doing are very useful for you by the time you go out there to pursue a particular job. In a way that the business is required that you need to do write a professional report. Now, the class presentations, before I start talking now, you have a mini oratory contest in a way. For those who participated there, whether it is negative or positive, you already created that ability that I can do it. And if you continue with that, you will always make sense. And then you see your life as good among the other people that you have met in the job place. Now, the stakeholders need people that can engage. If you get to organization and you discover that among all the staff they have, what you know how to do the best is communication. I can tell you, a serious CEO or COO, that is the chief operational officer, will not allow you to go because they know what you're doing. And that was one of the reasons my former employer retained me to be doing report writing, doing what we call commercial volume and technical volume when you are bidding for jobs or contracts. Because they discovered that out of our 15 employees, I'm the only one that can come up with a critical writing in terms of looking at the tender from the supply side and then look at it and say this is what they expect us to do, and I will make better the material and bring out the commercial follow report and technical report. Now the next thing for them is to now do our presents. Now up to this moment I'm doing it not because I was born with it, no. During my undergraduate days in UI, there is this particular course, technical report writing, usually taken by, I think, Dr. Ikari. So, I can tell you, my 3 years in UI, because I entered through the directory, my 3 years in UI, the two courses I can say they are giving more value today are research methods and technical writing. Forget about the others, though they help me, but as I'm talking to you now, those are the two courses that gave me what I'm doing today. So if you are running a program from 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, you are still going to classes and getting grades and this and that, and you cannot link what you are learning with what you are likely to do outside. I'm sorry, you are wasting your time. There is no way during my undergraduate here that eventually into class and start talking about a particular topic in a particular course without being thinking over how I'm going to apply this. That was the reason for me to pick the research methods as the core thing for me, because today I doubt it. Anything in the media research and the communication analysis research that you are going to tell me, I'm going to do this and I want you to help me, I can't say no, it is not possible. I cannot say for any other contextual areas, but for communications, you will say there. So you need to take those things seriously, especially group projects. In CNN, like remember very well, CNN, there is no way you pass through the communication happening in you without you understanding group dynamics. Because almost all courses will be divided into groups, helping you to learn from other people's. Because in this life, there is SWOT analysis. You can't have all the strength that you need. It is not possible. You need somebody else that will be complementing or addressing your weaknesses for you, directly or indirectly. That is why, if you find yourself in a group, you can see somebody that can speak very well, somebody can write very well, somebody can coordinate and ensure that you actually deliver the objective of that group. You need it. Now, what are the things that you need for you to reinvent your communication strategies? Like I said, you need to start moving from the basic to strategic communication. Yes, you understand grammar. You are perfect in grammar. I have people that are very good in grammar, and I can tell you they are not strategic communicators. Because grammars are parts. If you don't understand how to place this and this structure and bring the people to come and say, wow, I need to read this, forget about your grammar. That is why some people will feel like, why can't you be speaking like a volunteer? You are wasting your time. Especially in this era of a short span to reading things. Nobody is ready to really use grammar like this center. So it just wastes your time. During my university outside, one of our lecturers told us that English is not anybody's mother's language. Please don't come here and say you want to impress. What we want to understand is that you are communicating the simple things I can understand. Don't come and say you want to be giving me the words that you will be asking me to go and take one old national dictionary. No, I don't need it. But I want you to communicate clearly to me that I will understand what you are saying. instead of coming and starting talking about our own sector. I don't need it. So you need to know how to communicate using English grammar as much as possible, and ensure that if you are communicating and nobody can preach into this, forget you have not communicated anything. You need to influence, that's the name. If you are able to influence somebody, then you need to know how to persuade and adapt things. That is why marketing job is not for everybody. You can be taught, say you had a first class degree, you have second class degree or whatever. If you get to marketing things, then if you don't want to influence that to persuade and adapt, forget it. You won't buy and sell anything. So the next thing is that look at your assignments and then always take the cue of what you can apply later in the future. I remember that Dr. Igoka gave us one particular assignment for that report writing. I did something on UI students union. Then we had this issue of no proof, no this and no stuff. There was a crisis there that some people are now being protest here and there. So I did a package of protest reports looking at what the management did regarding inviting the students and then do a kind of reconstruction and management of the crisis. So from that report I did up to this moment, I can tell you of hand the structure of the report in general. But if you ask some people now that, okay, we have finished our program today, first communication seminar here. So I want you to go and do a report of what we did from the idea development to the execution. It will be difficult for you for people to do. Maybe the person just go to ChatGPT and have the ability to do the structure. Remember, we started having ChatGPT 2023 or 2022. So if it was like before the ChatGPT, what will you do? I'll be a problem. Now, you also need to understand that you move from a local to multilingual and multicultural in a way. So it means you need to understand that beyond English language, which other language do you think you can also have that can serve you in a way? Especially for those who are looking for civil society organization jobs, non-governmental jobs. You need to try to learn either French, Yoruba, Igbo, and others like that. And as a matter of fact, your traditional space to digital space, you need to pay attention to it. As we are here now, we are using traditional space. Now, how many of you are on LinkedIn? How many? On LinkedIn? How many? How many on Facebook? How many on Twitter? Now, how many on Instagram? But how many on TikTok? Thousands. But do you know how to use each of these platforms? Your failure to understand the platform affordances, that is, the specific features that each of them has in a way, that will be a problem for you. Honestly, if you are on this platform, and you are not creating value, you are not capturing value, leave it. Just delete your account. It doesn't make sense. You have to be on this platform, selling yourself either academically or professionally. The failure to use this platform very well, you will not actually have what we expected to have in terms of sustainable growth in academia and then professional life. Now, what do you need to do? Reinventing how you write, speak, and engage today is the best preparation for tomorrow. Now, every time you submit an essay, you always need to pay attention to the fact that, yes, I got the grade, but I'm expecting something better outside there when I'm working in industry. During my library days, some of my colleagues that we usually had stress with, and we scoring 7 to 60. They be asking me, so why do you have 60? but I'm happy 65 marks, 74. You taught us this thing now. Say, don't worry. When we get to the feast, we know who is Messi, who is Ronaldo. It's not about the grade, always. If you are getting grades and you cannot translate that into solving problem society, honestly, you are wasting that paper. It's just ordinary paper. Or have you been able to ask yourself an evaluation and they say, this is very nice, he had a class. It's not possible, but let's just told you. It's not. It's about the work that you can execute and we tell me that you know what to do. So, thank you for listening. And I want to say that maybe I will send to Abdulatif Isa what I delivered to here now. On our website, we actually have a comprehensive write-up there that you can go and read and understand. I don't also know whether you have selected the best among those who presented now. If you have not done that, give me the best 3 people. These 3 people will be part of our personalized mentorship program, worth of 300,000 per one. So let them reach out to me after this program. Thank you.
Now, I'm sure what our father said just now, we are able to get not just out of it. Please, if you are not, I know some of us they are just sitting there and they are not just there. Please, that's not a very good question. As much as possible to jot down things. When you are in such a gathering like this, you don't know where and how time might be got to be managed. Now, then we'll be moving on to the next session. That's session 2, and the topic is mastering the message, turning expertise into impact. And this is delivered by Mr. Today on your college.
Fine, MC. Mr. Children on the ground. No.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Very cool, sir. Tunde Onokoya is a management consultant, master mechanic, broadcast journalist, teacher, and a public speaker with a deep passion for vocational and technical education. He is a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants, FIMC, a certified management consultant, CMC, and an alumnus of both the Lagos Business School and Copenhagen Business School. A Rotary Award recipient and TEDx speaker, Tunde blends technical expertise with strategic insights to drive innovation in education, media, and industry. He is the managing director of Auto Clinic, where he leads both a thriving automotive service hub and the Auto Clinic Academy, a training institute equipping young professionals with practical, future-ready skills. For over 13 years, Tunde has also hosted the popular Auto Clinic radio show on Splash 105.5 FM, Ibadan, where he is fondly known as The Mechanic, simplifying complex automotive issues for a wider audience. Brothers and sisters, this is Mr. Tunde The Mechanic. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all creation. We praise Him, we seek His help, and we ask for His forgiveness. Whomever Allah guides, none can mislead. And whomever He allows to go astray, none can guide. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah alone, without a partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant and messenger. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is with humility and gratitude that I stand before you today, because life itself is a trust from Allah, and every platform we are given is both an opportunity and a responsibility. We are not gathered here by coincidence, but by divine decree, because Allah has written the event in our destinies. And the question is, what will the fathers? I'll tell you this. When you're educating, you need to listen to the role of the person you're talking to. In this case, it is a waste of your time and energy to the baby about diapers. Can we agree on that? Okay. The financier or the co-financier for diapers is the factory. But how effective is it going to be talking to the father about the diapers? In terms of effectiveness, on the scale of 1 to 10, what do you think it will be? I think there's an indictment on the fathers in the building here. 2 or 3? Wow, okay. So when you talk to the mother, she's the whom now? The decider, right? On which diaper to buy. What is the chances that she will buy when you advertise a diaper to her? 8, 10, 8. But some people still think it's 8, right? Why do you still think it's 8, not 10? For those that think it's 8, not 10. Because she can consider another product. But I'll give you a hack. In the scheme of this arrangement, there's an influencer that will definitely make that decision easier. You know who that person is? The mother's friends. If you target them and they are convinced the diaper is good, almost every mother asks our friends, which diaper brand should I consider? Especially those that have been mothers before her. Am I right? And once they give her something, that's the gospel until she has a different experience. So if I'm pushing my adverts, who should I be spending the most money on? The mother and her friends. Because in that group, whatever diaper brand they cancel is cancelled. So you see how you tailor your communication now. Imagine you now put an advert on radio targeted at the baby. Or you produce an amazing cartoon targeted at the baby for diaper sales. What do you think happens to that sales? Interesting. The lesson there is that if you want impact, you must ask 3 questions. Who am I talking to? What do they care about? What do I want them to do with this message? Pillar 4, personal branding and digital presence. Let me ask you, when people Google your name, what will they find? When they hear your name, what comes to mind? In today's world, your name is your brand. And I did not wake up one day to become the mechanic. It took years of consistent work, consistent broadcasting, consistent showing up. That's branding. And the lesson from that is that your brand is the loudspeaker for your expertise. Pillar 5, consistency. One powerful message may impress people for a day, but consistent messaging builds trust for a lifetime. For 13 years, every day at some point, that turned into every single week. I have run auto clinic on radio, week in, week out. Do you know what that has done? People trust me, not because of one show, but because of years of consistency. Lesson is that consistency turns a message into a movement. My brother seated here, Arojinle, has become a victim of his own success because now he has taken on a role of being the unofficial fact checker online. Anytime somebody says anything about an animal that even he has not heard of, they will tell him, come and tell us about this. And at some point, he started a war with AI. I don't know how that is going. Perhaps at some point, we'll declare a winner. But the only reason he's able to even think of starting that war with AI is because of his level of knowledge, personal development, and expertise that has been built through the years with consistency and hard work. To the extent that even when people are pushed towards believing AI before they believe in him, they still give him the benefit of the doubt, not cancel him completely because of that. Now, as students, there are practical steps that you can take. Number 1 is to start small. How do you start small? Speak up in class. Explain things to your friends. Volunteer to give a short talk. 2, use simple tools. Your phone is your microphone. Use WhatsApp, TikTok, Twitter, now X, to share knowledge in small, relatable bites. 3, seek feedback. After you speak, ask what stayed with you. That's how you grow. 4, embrace platforms. Join debates, give presentations, volunteer for events, because your voice gets stronger the more you use it. Number 5, think impact, not performance. Don't ask, did I speak well? Ask, did my message move them to think or feel or act? That is impact. Brothers and sisters, without expertise, without communication, you have a problem.
الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد. We give thanks to Almighty Allah and we appreciate our honorable guest. We pray may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly. Jazakumullahu khairan. Naib, you are highly recognized. Our father, sir. Mr. OK of Masoyego. Mr. Mechanic. Our judges, thank you so much. While our father was speaking, I learned a lot of things. Nítorí ẹ̀ mo fi sọ pé ẹ̀sùn péré ní di ibú. That's drug by drug. It can become aggression. Ṣùgbọ́n ìgbà míì sì lè ẹ̀sùn péré lè má padà wá di ibú. Ẹ̀rí ẹ̀sùn péré tá a rí yẹn ó tún lè gbé ní ṣubú. That's why I asked that. What are you doing to sustain the little you have, so as to gain the remaining half that you are yet to have? Ṣùgbọ́n láì wá ní fa ọ̀rọ̀ gùn. Ilé kí ọlọ́run ọba ìláyé adúgbò lọ́wọ́ olúwa fáànù rẹ̀ tó dájú ọba ńlá tó jọba ayé lọ. Ọba mímọ́ alágbára tí ń darí ayé, ọba àṣọ tí ò lówó ogún, kàńlá tí ò lọ́bà kan. Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum. Ìkẹ́ àtìgẹ̀ ogún kẹ́kẹ́ kó máa bá aṣáájú ẹ̀dá, bàbá Fátímà olówó orí Khadija. Gbogbo apátápátá la kí ní ti kíkí akíyìn nítorí ẹ̀yin gan ni èèyàn pàtàkì. Ni mo fi wá ronú láròjinlẹ̀ tómi inú wá kan mí. Mo rí àtúrọ́kà bí èlùbọ́ ìrọ́lá bíbọ̀dá àlàbí. Mọ́ṣálá ni wọ́n gbé yẹn àǹtí àṣàbí. Kí ló wá dé ìnáwó àlùfàǹṣá láàyò? Ṣebí kókó lè gbin yán ṣùkú ní tàgbàdo. Ká sọ̀rọ̀ ká bá abẹ́ ìlú òótọ́ ló jẹ́. Nítorí pupa lepo funfun níyọ̀, omi ò láwọ̀ kan. Olódodo ní Mùsùlùmí. Yá ayyuhallazina amanu taqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. Yá ayyuhallazina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Mùsùlùmí olódodo á máa sọ òtítọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ tó sunwọ̀n, ọ̀rọ̀ tó buyìn, ọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa là á máa gbọ́ lẹ́nu Mùsùlùmí. Nítorí wípé ọ̀tọ̀lágbọ́n ọ̀tọ̀lágbọ̀n, ọ̀tọ̀lọ́gbọ́n ọ̀tọ̀lọ́gbọ̀n, ọ̀tọ̀lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tọ̀lọ́wọ̀, ọ̀tọ̀ ní tọ́lú ọ̀tọ̀ ní tọ́lù, ọlọ́tọ̀ ní tòun ọ̀tọ̀ ló mú kọ́lé rẹ̀ lọ́tọ̀. Mùsùlùmí ni mí, Mùsùlùmí ni wọ́n, mùmìnì ni wá, òdodo ló yẹ ká máa bá lẹ́nu wa, ọ̀rọ̀ tó tọ́ ló yẹ ká máa bá lẹ́nu Mùsùlùmí òdodo. Ìyàwó àmọ̀mọ̀ fún gbogbo onílàákàyè, ṣùgbọ́n fún àǹfààní ẹni máa ń gbọ́ mi fúngbà àkọ́kọ́. Abdulmati lèmi jẹ́ Adédàmọ́lá ọmọ Gbádégẹṣin ọmọ ẹni.
Allahu Akbar. I think we've learned a lot today. If I can see maybe you volunteer amidst the guys or amidst the ladies to tell us what you learned from Mr. Today Onakoya, the mechanic today, and Mr. Lasisi Mada. You volunteer from the male and female. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan to all our facilitators. Almighty Allah continue to reward you abundantly. It was very insightful and interesting listening to the mechanic again. But I'd just like to talk about the last things he said about what we as students can do. And where he talked about using the tools we have at our disposal currently and starting small. People don't just become competent communicators by accident. It is as a result of daily practice, things that they do every day. Personally, I stayed away from public speaking in UI for very personal reasons. But one of the things that I do, and which our speakers and facilitators will confirm to you, is something like learning a new word every day, or writing very short essays about topics, speaking in front of your friends and letting them judge your speech, modulating your voice. One of the judges talked about voice intonation when speaking, modulating your voice, asking for feedback from your friends, from the people around you. It is something that we have to do on a daily basis. You cannot leave it to chance to become a communicator, a competent communicator. You cannot leave it to chance. It's something that you have to put in concerted effort towards achieving. And it is very important as Muslims, no matter the field you want to go into in the world today, even if you want to use AI, if you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to give AI the right prompt to get the right response you need. So I pray that Almighty Allah continues to plan our efforts with success and make it easy for us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. Now, next on our agenda, we are going to be going to the discussion session. But before then, I would like to recognize, although we did mention the name, Mr. Iski Mustafa, and I'm sure by now we know him. If you don't know him physically today, I'm sure Facebook Reels, Instagram will pop up his content to you and you've seen it. And he's popularly known as what? Awuji. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The citation of Mr. Iski Golaha Mustafa Awujile. Mr. Iski Golaha Mustafa, widely known as Awujile, is a Nigerian communicator, radio presenter, and documentarian. He hosts Mary on Fresh FM Ibadan, a show that blends traditional radio with digital media to inform and entertain. He also a content curator, voice-over artist, and wildlife documentarian. Awujile holds a BSc in biochemistry and an MSc in membrane biochemistry and biotechnology. He simplifies complex science and environmental issues through storytelling and often incorporates Yoruba language and culture in his work. He is passionate about documenting social realities and preserving culture. He uses radio and documentaries to educate and inspire, making knowledge accessible and relevant to his audience. The audience, join me welcome Mr. Iski Mustafa Aruji to the podium. Thank you.
Okay, the next person we'll be calling out is Mr. Tijani Abdulkadir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, Mr. Tijani Abdulkadir. Mr. Tijani Abdulkadir is a freelance journalist whose work has appeared in Al Jazeera, University World News, The Republic, The Continent, Will and Guardian, and other outlets. He worked as a project monitor with the Center of Journalism Innovation and Development, investigating zonal intervention projects in Oyo State. He is a fellow of the African Foundation of Young Media Professionals in 2022, Liberalist Center's Journalism for Liberty Fellowship in 2022, and the London School of Economics Journalism (AI) Academy for Sub-Saharan Africa 2024. He also received the Gatefield Visual Journalism Fellowship and the One World Media Global Health Solutions Fellowship in 2024, producing a documentary on vertical vaginal fistula. His awards include the African Institute for Development Policy Media Prize 2023, Alfred Okubo's National Prize in Health Reporting, and the University of Ibadan Vice Chancellor's Prize for Outstanding Students in Journalism. Let's gently welcome Mr. Tijani Abdulkadir.
Okay, now the next person we will call in is a foreign level student of the Department of Linguistics and the person of Lawal Sadiq.
Assalamu alaikum. The citation of Mr. Sadiq Lawal. Sadiq Lawal is a first-time final year student in the Department of Linguistics and African Language at the University of Ibadan, specializing in linguistics and Yoruba combined honors. His academic interests include phonology, syntax, computational linguistics, discourse analysis, and language documentation. He has practical experience as a research analyst, dataset, annotator, translator, and ghostwriter, and has facilitated virtual Yoruba language instruction for international learners. Passionate about cultural preservation and technological innovation, Sadiq is committed to advancing Yoruba and African language to African intelligence. Please let's welcome Mr. Sadiq Lawal to the stage.
Okay, that's our discussants for this session. And what you'll be talking about is the changing landscape of communication, challenges and opportunities.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We give thanks to Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity to be here today and for making us Muslims. Alhamdulillah. So without wasting any of our time, we will start the panel session, which I have two panelists with me here. But before we move forward, I have one thing to say, and that thing is that I'm elated to be here today. And the sole reason is that Arujile is my favorite person who I love so much because of his word. And I always, when he drops any video, I make sure that I watch it because I have so much interest in my mother tongue in Yoruba. And he always says that the part that give me interest most is that àròjinlẹ̀ ló kọ́ mi àyògìdìgbò tí ń gbòdìgbòdì ọgbọ́n kí gbogbo olóyè àtọ̀mọ́rọ́ lè jó. I will pray to Almighty Allah to keep strengthening you and to keep giving you the strength, the knowledge, the creativity to continue the good work you are doing. Jazakumullah. Thank you so much, sir. I'm happy to be here today because it's one of my dreams to meet you in person. And I also welcome my scholar. I was opportune to work on a particular thing with him, and I learned so much from him. So I respect him so much. We Almighty Allah keep to give you knowledge and understanding. Amen. So yeah, we have some questions that we will ask our panelists. And I believe that we are all ready to learn from their pool of experience and from the struggles, from the success they've attained in life. So I want us to take our pen and jotter to write something down, and at some point, whenever we have any questions, note it down. Inshallah, we are going to attend to them. So, the first question that I have here, it's a general question, which we go to the two panelists. So, and I will start with Mr. Iske Arojile. Sir, you are welcome, sir. The question I have here is that, what first inspired your journey in communication, and how has the landscape changed since then?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My journey to communication, I would say it was something that was inborn. I think from primary 3, I started chanting AOB around for kings and people, and it became something that I do. I communicate even in my madrasa back then, when we would go out, follow my stars, and a lot of duties would be dedicated to me. So it has been something that I've been doing on and on. That I didn't think that if my teachers were really, really observant, I shouldn't have been a science student. I was just a science student because I was the most brilliant in class, and they just feel like total science, and that was how I met myself in science.
But I think that being a science student has helped you a lot.
It actually has. And that's one of the things about Qadr. Allah has really, in His infinite knowledge, knows that some of these things will be needed in the journey. And so there's no regret at all. So it is something that is inborn. It's a passion. It's something that has been in me. That was what drove me into communication. That's why, since I graduated, I finished my first degree in 2012. I've been looking for radio stations or places where I can just keep doing things. And there were no opportunities until 2016 when I just thought I can just start doing this on the internet. And I started on the internet, and it opened of ways and opportunities. Mr. Mechanic the other time was saying you start from where you are with what you have. I think, okay, I'm taking too much time on this.
No, sir, please continue, sir.
Okay, I think one of the most, the things that paralyze people most is wherever they set their eyes, they want to start there. And the thing is, you have to start from where you are, because a lot of people where you want to start will not give you the opportunity unless they see something. I was very close to King Kaifele one-on-one while I was going to Fresh FM there as a learner. But every time I have to introduce myself, I say, before you say, until I started creating content on the social media and the influence went around. So that was when Inka started now looking for me. You know why she didn't find that for like every month. I didn't go. At some point, he called me and said, "What is it for me?" So you have to start because people will not give you that chance unless you are proving yourself. A lot of people want to get put on without showing up. Don't forget that you have to show up before you get put on. Now, on how the landscape has changed, it has changed a lot in a very good and positive way. You know, in those days, somebody like me might still not have gotten to radio till today. Because then you have to follow some baba and be carrying bags and probably wash their cars and doing a whole stuff. Yes, there are people still doing it now, and they will not have headway. But the internet has really been a leveler. It gives you opportunity to quickly break through. You know, 32 FM that I was before going to Fresh FM, the general manager and the head of programs, they kept looking for me. They even called me that they wanted to see that our fans tomorrow fell down. I said, okay, we'll see tomorrow. The next day I was already in the studio. They called that they wanted to, you fixed meeting. I said, I'm sorry. I'm at tomorrow time. If you can come tomorrow time. They came tomorrow. When I saw them, they said they introduced themselves as the general manager and the head of so that wouldn't have been possible. So a lot of things have changed, and if we take advantage of it, it has made the level, the playground so level that you are only lazy. It's only if you are lazy that you get a chance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So now the takeaway is that mount the stage yourself. Nobody will put it there. Example, my parent. Thank you, sir. To Mr. Tijani Adh-Dhikr. Sir, the same question goes to you. What first inspired your journey in communication, and how has the landscape changed since then?
Thank you very much. So how my journey starts, but just to clarify, I'm not a communication expert. I mean, I'm a journalist, and so of course I do communicate, but in this context, I do not. So I should still clarify that I am not a communications expert. Okay. But yeah, so when we talk of my journey into journalism, I've always had passion for creating content, for doing for social impact. So when I was very young, my elder sister, she had a lot of medical complications, and so for months my parents were moving from hospital to hospital to try to find solution to that problem. But eventually they did get the solution, but it took us a lot of financial commitment, a lot of misinformation around that particular illness, and which is because I mean, the way we know it, an average Nigerian believes that if your illness is not visible, they see it as a spiritual attack. So for a long period of time, my sister was moving from hospital and there was no solution. They were going to doctors. Also, it became a problem at the time that why exactly is the problem with this thing? Why is it that nobody is able to say that this is the problem and this is what we can do? If this is treatable, if there is a cure or something. So that experience has stayed with me for a long period of time. And so before coming to you, I finished from Polyban. And so I joined the Departmental Press Club. I was writing daily news. I was doing some sort of media content and all that. And so the moment I finished and I got into UI, I knew immediately that I want to be part of the journalism club. And that is because of my passion for telling stories. So my first bio in UCG was even before I resumed on campus. I already had a guest post because I tried to connect with the then editor-in-chief and tell her, so I have interest in journalism. There's no two ways about it. And I want to join the UCG. And I have an article that I want to publish. And he said, no problem, send it if it's good enough, we are going to publish it. And he saw it and he took interest in it. And immediately he did publish it. So I resumed on campus and immediately the form was out and I joined the UCJ, I joined my faculty press, and that is how it has been. So I mean, my first investigation as a UI student was in 100 level, where I went for donation, went to Abu, because when we came in 2021, there were a lot of robbery around the Abu artists. So I did 2-part reports for donation newspaper. I wrote series of features for the ECJ, even my faculty. And so by the time I was in 200 level, I mean, I was already living on campus. When anybody wants to do investigation, they want to do features, they just come out, they reach out to me. In fact, I even started getting exclusive information. And so, I mean, so it became a thing, and from there on, I continued to do that.
Wow, that's so insightful. Thank you so much, sir. So now we go to personal questions, and I will start with Mr. Iske Mustafa Babarujile. Yeah, but the first question here is that, sir, what's your biggest challenges in simplifying complex ideas, and what lesson can students take from it? I'm sorry, sir, before you start, that has been my personal question too. Because the first thing that interests me in the content that you put out there is that the level of your simplicity and clarity. Because I could remember that one of my lecturers told me one day that the soul of a good communication lies in simplicity and clarity. I think about it always, and I've seen that in you. That makes me to love what you do. Please, sir, how do you simplify all these complex ideas to make people enjoy it?
I think that starts from me being a teacher. I love teaching, I love explaining things because I feel when I explain, then I know. Okay. So I feel when I explain, I know it better. When I graduated in 2013, 2014, 2015, I started teaching chemistry. And you agree that some concepts in chemistry can be so abstract sometimes. And so instead of using the chemical term, I break it down and relate it to students. Oh, they are saying ionization energy, the energy required to remove an electron in ground state from an atom in its gaseous state. So to have simple, it increased down the group. I'll just draw the shell. You know, as you keep going down, the shell keeps increasing. And I tell them, nucleus is the house. Shell, as you are going outside, is where the electron is. If they want to kidnap you, is it when you are close to your house or when you are far away from the house? They will say when you are far away from it, it is
fantastic.
You understand? So that's equilibrium. It will shift to the right, it will shift to the left. Simple, tell them, and you see bakery. When you go inside the bakery, they say, no, I'm talking about that's the thing. This is an exothermic reaction. It's giving up. If you increase temperature, it will go back. So that's it has always been my, because if you cannot explain it to an idiot, then you don't really know it well. That is mine. So it's the same thing I carried to this content creation this thing. My aim is for somebody in the village that has never stepped into the four walls of the school, because that's why I decided to do it in Yoruba language. For them to listen to the video and have the same knowledge that someone who has schooled in US, UK, or wherever will have. So I have to communicate it in a way they would. So that thing you said is what takes most time. Sometimes I can spend 4 days in breaking down some of this. Okay, this way. How else can I explain it? So when I get there, that's when I start writing the scripts for. So it is. That's the same thing that everyone should do. Your audience, you want to reach them. You want them to really get. He mentioned telling the story.
Yes.
So if they cannot really, there's nothing. The speaker I met, I forgot his name while I came in, was talking about trying to speak verbose English. That's not communication. If you cannot break it, I will repeat. If you cannot explain it to an idiot, then you don't know it well enough. And that has been my watchword, and that's what I key into when I'm transmit it. But of course, we need to first understand it well enough before you break them down. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. The first question for Mr. Tijani Abdul-Kabir. Sir, can you share a moment when balancing honesty and sensitivity was tough and how it shaped